Let me be clear up front. The Altars is one of the most unique games I've played in years. Part base builder, part survival sim, part psychological drama, and 100% commitment to a central, mind-bending idea. What if every version of you, the ones who made different choices, was just down the hall? In this video, we're going to dig into every major component of the Altars, the premise, the mechanics, the characters, the emotions, and how they all come together in something that feels less like a game and more like a emotional autopsy. This is a game that doesn't just ask you to survive. It asks if you deserve to. You play as Jan Dolski, a technician with a reasonably remarkable background trapped on an extremely remarkable planet.
Bro, this game looks crazy!
After a mission gone wrong, he's stranded. The rest of his crew is dead. His only lifeline is a crawling circular base that must stay ahead of the sunrise because this planet has one killer twist. The sun is so deadly that a single ray of direct exposure means death. That alone would make for tense survival premise, but the Altars adds a twist that changes everything. Jan can create alternate versions of himself using a biotech device called the Tree of Life. Each of these clones, called Altars, represents a version of Jan from a different life path. Now, to be clear, these are not drones. They are full people. They remember what made them who they are. They remember diverging from Jan's timeline. Some are confused about that. Some just want to help. Some are angry.
Okay. I knew it was a fucking mistake the moment I signed up for this goddamn mission.
Creating an altar requires DNA, organic material, and a huge emotional cost. You're bringing a human life into being for one purpose, to survive. And as the game unfolds, you'll come to question whether survival is really worth the psychological toll of manufacturing sentient labor. And yet, this mechanic isn't just clever, it's crucial. You can't survive alone. The game will punish you if you try. You will run out of time, energy, materials. The only way forward is to share the burden, whether you like the company or not. The philosophical hook is brilliant. What does it mean to see yourself reflected back? Better, worse, broken, or thriving? What does it mean to need them, and what happens when they no longer need you? The core gameplay loop of the Altars is layered, strategic, and laced with urgency. The base is circular, with a center hub and spokes where you build rooms. Think Frostpunk if it could roll. I know that sounds really strange. Each room has a function. Workshops produce equipment, kitchens prepare meals, dorms give your Altars a place to rest. There's a weight system, a heat system, a fuel system, and even route planning. The farther you go, the more energy you use, the more you build, the heavier the base becomes. You can't just build everything, you have to choose. Altars can be assigned to tasks in or outside the base. One might operate a mining outpost, another could be cooking food for the rest, but unlike most survival games, these characters have emotional states. They get tired, they get depressed, they talk about their dreams, and if you ignore them, they can revolt, or worse. Each resource gathering mission is a risk-reward equation. Do I go out now while I have energy, or do I wait and possibly lose access to a vital deposit? Do I send Medic Jan to run a tech scan, or do I build a Technician Jan instead and risk not having a healer later? The environment is both ally and enemy. Radioactive anomalies and perception-distorting zones can create unpredictable obstacles. These areas aren't just hazardous, they're psychological landmines. You begin to fear the terrain as much as the ticking clock that goes along with it. Tools help. Fast travel pylons that turn the map into a breadcrumb trail. Modular systems to expand the base without growing inefficient, but nothing fully removes the threat. One standout feature is the lack of build timers or harsh penalties for redesigning your base. You can move rooms at will, which lets you experiment until it becomes too overwhelming to keep track. By hour 10, you're frantically hunting for your comm rooms and realizing you put it behind the reactor for efficiency, and now you can't find it. That moment, though, that's the game. Efficiency versus clarity, control versus chaos. What really elevates the altars is how it treats writing not just as flavor text, but as gameplay. The tone is somber, reflective, and laced with subtle dread. The dialogue is often quiet, even mundane, but it carries weight. This isn't a game full of exposition dumps or action movie bravado. It's a game of whispered confessions, bitter arguments, and small moments that feel uncomfortably real.
It might not be about the arm at all, but about his insecurities. Remind me, are we here to mine rupidium or to humor insecure individuals?
Alex Jordan, the actor voicing every single Jan, gives a standout performance. Each altar has a distinct cadence, affectation, and emotional range.
No exercising, of course. Beating the hell out of a punching bag, running a few miles, you know.
What the fuck? Did you just chop your arm off?
What's it look like? A fucking prank. I had to get rid of it.
They're more than caricatures, they're lives lived. This consistency gives the world an emotional continuity that most games struggle to maintain. The longer you play, the more you realize the goal isn't to control the altars, it's to negotiate with them, to understand them, and maybe, if you're lucky, understand yourself. Visually, the altars absolutely competes with AAA games. Not through sheer polygon count or cinematic extravagance. It's present, but that's not what makes it stand out. It's through distinct atmosphere and focused art direction. The planet feels like the last place a human should be. The landscapes are sharp, dry, and scarred, red rock, violet skies. Each new location the base travels to is more hostile than the last. Not because of enemies, there are none, but because of entropy, because of decay, because the world is indifferent to your struggle. Inside the base, everything is practical. Metal walls, flickering lights, the occasional touch of humanity with posters, mugs, clutter. It all feels just lived in enough to be believable. And then there's the lighting. The sun isn't just a hazard, it's a presence. As it rises, the shadows change, the colors shift, panic sets in. You know the light's coming. Sound design ties all of this together. You hear the boots clanging on the steel floors, the machinery whirring, static from distant radio signals. There's a constant hum of something that's just not quite right. And finally, the music rarely intrudes, but when it does, it lands. A mournful piano note, a slow ambient build. You never feel comfort in this world, only these temporary reliefs. At the heart of the altars is a simple, devastating question. What if you had made a different choice? It's a game about regret, not in the sense of a big singular failure, but the accumulation of tiny decisions that shape a life. Every altar represents a path not taken, a you who made a different turn. Some pursued dreams, some ran from trauma, some hardened themselves into weapon, some found peace, but none of them are whole. The game isn't interested in binary good or evil morality. Instead, it dives into emotional realism. Each altar has complex feelings about their own path and about you. Some blame Prime Jan. Some look up to him. Some pity him. Some want nothing to do with him at all. This dynamic mirrors how we relate to our own past. I mean, if you really think about it, have you ever looked back at a decision and wondered who you'd be if you had zigged instead of zagged? Have you ever resented your past self or mourned the future that never came? The altars turns that introspection into gameplay. Your choices with each altar ripple outward. There's no correct path, only adaptation, empathy, and loss. And then there's the Tree of Life itself, a grotesque blend of biotech and memory architecture. It lets you grow life from data, but at what cost? It's a literal womb that forces you to play God. The ethical weight of this never leaves. You're not just cloning tools, you're creating people who can suffer. What's so tragic and brilliant is that many of these alters are better versions of Jan. They were braver, smarter, more fulfilled, which means Prime Jan you're playing might be the worst one. This is rare storytelling. It takes player agency and reflects it back as emotional consequence. It's not about winning, it's about understanding why you lost. The Alters is one of those rare games that isn't afraid to be quiet, to be slow, to be uncomfortable. It doesn't bombard you with dopamine hits or crafting checklists. It gives you people, gives you time, and it asks you to think. The visuals are striking. The writing is sharp. The performances are phenomenal. The systems all serve the story, and the story doesn't let you escape yourself. Is it perfect? No. Some mechanics feel undercooked, some pacing dips in the mid-game, but none of that outweighs the achievement here. This is a game about identity, consequence, and survival, but more than that, it's about you. The you that was, the you that could have been, and the you who has to live with it all. The Alters doesn't ask you to save the world. It asks if you can live with yourself. And I think that's the most important question a game has asked me all year. Thanks for watching this breakdown of The Alters. If you found something in this story that made you pause, reflect, or just feel a little more human, then this game did its job, and hopefully so did I. If you like deep dive reviews that go beyond surface level impressions, consider sticking around. I've got plenty more games to break down, and not all of them involve cloning yourself to survive a death planet, but hey, that's a tough act to follow. Until next time, be kind to your future selves. They have to live with your decisions.